Another instance of crazy leaders going cuckoo. Hello, this is YumongX, and the date is April the 28th, 2022. Well, Germany's Minister of State Tobias Lindner is freaking out because China and the Solomon Islands just signed a treaty. Let's watch this video clip.
We are concerned about that agreement between the Solomon Islands and China, and I can assure you we will watch very carefully about what is China doing in its neighborhood and in the region.
He says he needs to watch very carefully about what China is doing in South China Sea. Okay, let's watch what China is doing in South China Sea.
Important military developments recently should give China pause for thought. The first one is the announcement by Prime Minister Scott Morrison of a $1.1 billion upgrade to the Royal Australian Air Force Base at Tyndall, which is about 300 kilometers south of Darwin, to lengthen the runway so that US B-52 strategic bombers as well as our own KC-30 air-to-air refueling aircraft can operate from there. The second development is the announcement by the U.S. State Department that Australia has been cleared, at a cost of about $1.4 billion, to purchase 200 AGM-158C long-range anti-ship missiles or LRASM, which can be fired from our F-A-18 Super Hornets and the F-35s when they are delivered. The significance of these two developments occurring at the same time should not be underestimated and certainly not in Beijing. Morrison described the upgrades to Tyndall as being the sharp end of the spear for Australian and US air operations in the Indo-Pacific. As ASPI's Peter Jennings observed, the decision to expand the Tyndall airbase is a giant strategic step forward and could be the basis for a greater leadership role for Australia in the region. When the upgrade, including major runway extensions, fuel stockpiles and engineering support, is completed, Tyndall will be the most potent military base south of Guam. And, for the time being at least, it is beyond the reach of Chinese conventional ballistic missiles. The LRASMs will give Australia a highly capable standoff anti-ship strike capability with much longer range than we've had before. Classified sources state that this missile has a range of at least 500 to 600 kilometers. It can conduct ISM is also capable of hitting land targets. Its own data link allows other military assets to feed the missile a real-time electronic picture of the battle space. We are now in an era in which China is contesting our strategic space in the inner arc, stretching to consider acquiring weapon systems with even longer range. The US is developing a ground launch resulted in little official public protests being made on China's activities. The United States is in the process of helping Malaysia build its own maritime domain awareness capability.
Mr. Lindner, did you see that? Are you concerned?
For sure, China has the right to have armed forces. China has also the right for territorial integrity, but to be very clear, we expect China, especially since China is a permanent member of the Security Council, to uphold and to comply with the international rules-based order, and also to comply with the rulings of international courts, especially when it comes to issues in the South China Sea and in the region.
When China signs a treaty, Mr. Lindner feels that he needs to remind China about international rules. Now let's look at the treaties that have been signed in the Pacific region. In May 2021, United States, Australia, India, and Japan formed the Quad. The Quad alliance is expanding to areas like security, economic, and health issues, besides the initial maritime cooperation. Then 3 months later, in September 2021, UK, US, and Australia formed AUKUS. AUKUS will turn Australia into a nuclear-armed country. Why didn't this make Mr. Lindney concerned? Is the US a permanent security member? Yes. Is UK a permanent UN Security Council member? Yes. So all these two members have been signing treaties, military treaties, in the Indo-Pacific region, a region that is far, far away from the soils of US and UK. Shouldn't Mr. Lindner be concerned about these? Shouldn't he remember these two countries, these two Western permanent UN Permanent Security Council members about the international rules, considering these two countries lied to the whole world and launched a war that destroyed Iraq based on blatant lies? Where's Mr. Lindner's integrity? This is how ridiculous and crazy so many Western leaders are thinking and saying and acting. Mr. Lindner should just keep his eyes on Germany's allies like US, UK, Australia, Japan, etc. I really don't understand why he's not worried about these countries' military actions, especially when US has a military budget that is bigger than the combination of the next 10 countries combined. This is another case of the Western double standards and hypocrisy and dictatorships of the West. What kind of mentality is this? I think the whole world should be concerned about Western countries like Germany, US, UK, Australia, Japan. These are the countries that we should worry about. These countries have a history of aggression and blatant disregard for other countries' sovereignty. Thank you for watching and see you next time. 小鱼们，小啦啦，小。